All right, here's a coffee for you that comes from the Kalamasig town in the Sabanal region of the province called Sultan Kudarat in the southern part of the Philippines, in the island of Mindanao, which is on the southern part of Mindanao. So it's like all south, 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 south. And this is a coffee that before I realized it, when I bought it, I didn't realize that I actually know the producer. This coffee, the Sabanal, is actually a coffee that I purchased from Teofilo Coffee in Los Alamitos, California. I got it there. This is their bags are fairly reasonable for what they are. This is $25 for I think 12 ounces, and as you can see here, roasted 422. Good morning, Keone. How are you, man? The rain has come to Thailand and cooler weather. Excellent, excellent. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Mom, good to see you. And the producer, the woman that produces it, her name is Marivic Dubria. And I've known Marivic for quite a long time now, for maybe like 3, 4, 5 years. Well, I guess that's not quite a long time, but 5 years or so at least. And actually, I was just with her. We were in Chicago during the SCA conference doing a cupping of Philippine coffees. And Marivic was there. She's always there. She's a great producer. And actually, this will be the very first time that I've had her coffee. Well, no, I probably have had her coffees, but this is the first time that I'm remembering that I've had her coffees. I'm sure in the previous cuppings I've been to, she's had coffees on the table that I've tasted, but this is one that not. This is a natural processed arabica that is roasted by Teofilo Coffee and has a full city, a medium roast profile. And the coffee itself is grown at 1,200 meters above sea level using the arabicas of that region. And arabicas in the Philippines, I'm not sure if this is true of Marivic's coffee. We'll see when we get the box open. A lot of the arabicas in the southern part of the country, from my understanding, are more wild arabicas. So they came there quite a long time ago, maybe over 200 years ago. And they've just been kind of growing wild. And a lot of the times, well, at least the farmers that I work with, Marivic is a lot more, she has a lot more cultivated fields. The farmers that I work with were more wild farmers, but I think the varietals that she's probably working with are a little bit more of the wilder, the sweeter, what we call sweet arabicas, and they tend to be elongated in size. But we're going to find out in a few moments and then see what they're. It doesn't really specify what kind of arabicas they're using, just that it is arabica and it comes from Sultan Kudarat. I believe Marivic is. Well, she doesn't wear. She doesn't wear a hijab, so maybe she's not Islam, but I'm not sure. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to open bag. Lord Tobacco, good luck to you, man. How are you, Nate? Good to see you. I want to open this bag, trying not to puncture it, which may or may not work. Oh, yeah, this one. Like yesterday's bag, this has a pull tab. Make sure that you're not like me, cutting the top of the bag like a fool when you could have it really nice like this. Oh, no, these are not. Well, let's see. Let's get into it. So how's everyone doing today? Everyone's good? Oh, these may be. These are slightly elongated. These are probably more like typical varieties. As you can see, they're not. There are. I wonder if I have any. I don't think I have any readily available, but these are. I'm looking at this. Like, this is some of my samples from one of the PCQC competitions. I think this is from the 2002 set. Oh yeah, this is. So actually, as a correlation, we talked. I wish I'd seen this yesterday. We talked about. So this is the top 6 coffees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see. Okay, that's my Oh, these are top 6 Robustas. No, this is not the I was going to say that, oh, the coffee we had from yesterday, which was the #1 coffee from the 2002 PCQC, will be in here, but then this is the Robusta collection, not the Arabica collection. So never mind. Never mind. Once again, I am mistaken. All right. We'll go back to it. Okay. Was there another one? Oh, actually, I do have the Arabicas here. Maybe this will be the #1. Okay, I think we should have sound. How does that sound? I just had to get another. I just realized that my other transmitter or receiver lost battery. All right, so we're back again. Good. Sorry about that. Okay, so like I was saying, we're gonna go back to this. So I found these samples. This coffee is this coffee. These are both the 2022 #1 PCQC coffees, and I don't know. I just thought that'd be interesting. Now that I found these samples, but so you can see the roasted coffee slightly larger. You'll get a little bit of expansion on the coffee from the green because of the nature of the roasting. But this coffee here is this coffee. Kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe it's not so fun. Maybe it's kind of boring. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to Marivic's coffee because that's really what we're here for. I really do have a lot of coffees here to share with people. All right, so we've got our coffee here. So this is, like I said, it's from the town Kalamasig. It's a little bit tricky because in the Philippines we have this fruit, this little tiny like kind of Philippine style lime, a little bit limey, a little bit sweet, a little bit orangey, called the Kalamansi. So every time I see this town called Kalamasig in Sabanal, in Sultan Kudarat, it's like I get a little bit tripped up. Anyway, so natural process arabica, and nice coffee. It looks fairly clean and nice, and Marivic is a very good producer. So we're just going to brew this up. I got the water boiling here. Put it back on the heat. We're going to need our trusty origami, which I had to rinse off, and we're going to need a scale. I did recharge the scale from yesterday. Oh, we need to measure some coffee first. So let's get our measuring going on here. Of course, as always, 24 grams to make a 12-ounce cup. Make up a little bit off there. We're going to need our scale. We're going to keep the same. We had really good results yesterday with our pour yesterday. We're using this particular grind setting. So we're not going to change the grind setting. We're just going to let it rock and roll. Now with this particular grinder, I will cycle the grinder off and on because there is some popcorning that will happen where the coffee will kind of bounce as the burrs are spinning. The popcorn, the coffee will bounce, doing what we call a popcorn effect. And so, by stopping the grinder and allowing the coffee to stop, to fall down and settle into the burrs, and restarting it, it can kind of grab it and we'll get all of it to grind. See, ooh, looks a little bit finer than yesterday's coffee. We'll see that in a moment. Like there are some fruity-ish kind of more tropicality. Again, more like jackfruit rather than strawberry, blueberry. Interesting. All right, let's get this back together. So, origami, as always, with our origami OEM filters. Fold that over. Put that in like this. And then we're going to add you see there's a little bit of chaff here. The roasting is fairly, I'd say that is, pretty much, medium-ish. All right, let's get to the brewing now. Let's get to the brewing. Pump up that a little bit more to make sure it's nice and hot. Nice and boily. Reset that, and now we're going to start the timer. $30 grams. We're getting a little bit of fall through. This time I'm going to go hard to 75 or so. There we go. We're going to stop there and let it fall for the first 30 seconds. My plan is to just keep everything saturated. So we're going to go around the edges here. Now, if you're watching the main channel videos, especially the stuff from the Specialty Coffee Association Expo, you may have seen the video that I made about this cold brewer that uses vacuum pressure for the brewing. And the guy who created that is a guy by the name of Youngro from Texas. And he called me. Well, I was really interested in it. And I called him up, or I messaged him. I said, hey, I called him. I said, hey, I would like to buy your small brewer. And he was like, okay, great. And, he's very Korean. So the Korean his accent is really thick. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to understand what he's saying, but, we're able to easily communicate otherwise. And he's like, okay, well, I will deliver it to you. I was like, what? You're going to what? Bring it to me. What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I'm going to bring it to you. I'm going to be in Baltimore. And he's a professor at the University of North Texas, outside of Dallas. And he's like, yeah. So I figured he's coming to Baltimore to go to Hopkins and do some kind of science. He's a scientist, right? And he's like, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And so he calls me yesterday, or sends me a message yesterday or the day before. He's like, I mean, it was yesterday. He's like, he was supposed to be here this weekend. And he sends me a message. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm not able to make it. He calls me Mr. Carrigan. I'm like, you don't have to call me Mr. Dude. Jay is perfectly fine. I didn't tell him that, but really, I'm just like, well, okay, if you want to be formal, that's fine. And I appreciate that. And he's like, I'm afraid I have some car issues. He's got a new car that had a recall, and he just hasn't gotten it back yet. So he's like, I will come back. I will come and bring it to you in the future. And I was like, and I'm not really, I don't really understand. Like, are you telling me that you're coming to you're driving from Dallas to Baltimore, almost 30 hours of driving just to deliver this item to me? Like, that is unnecessary. Much appreciated, but not necessarily. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping he's coming here for work-related stuff, and I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so 323, 249. I'm probably pulling a little bit fast this time, but we're gonna braise it to, like, we're at 3 minutes, so we're gonna let it to 3 minutes. We're gonna bring it to 350 and just let it finish out. There we go, 352.8. Very nice. Kiona says, I went to the Zerno website, and it's quite a bit more than when I ordered it. I think I was on the last pre-order for the second edition of the grinder. Seems like you have to get on a wait list. I think you're right. I think when I was talking to Dev, the owner, in the video, it did sound like there was a little bit of a wait. And yeah, $1,800 to get, like, what is it? It was $1,800 to get the grinder with the nice cap, and I think the wood front, and 2 extra burr sets. $1,800. I mean, but you know what? If you think about it, like a lot of the other grinders out there, it's not terribly much more. Like the newer, what's it called? The new Mauser one that Pete Licata worked on. That video is coming up as well. That is it's cheaper. It's like 1,300 euros, I think it is, or 1,100 euros, maybe $1,300. So they're all kind of in the same price range. And now, if you're talking like, the Melkonig one, the X54, that's significantly cheaper than $1,800. Like, it's like $600 or $500, $450, something like that. But it's also, and it's really a nice quality grinder. Like, when we were making the video and doing the unboxing for it the other week, like, it was super impressive, like how nice of a grind quality it gives. But it also is very slow, right? Like, it took 11 seconds to grind about 18, 20 grams of coffee in the X54. Whereas if you put it in the E80, which is the big boy that costs, like, I don't know, nearly $3,000, it's like 2.5 seconds. Like, it's just like, oh, it's grinding power of immense proportion. All right, so here's our grind. It's finished. Now, I've been talking. We actually finished right around 3:30. So don't let the time fool you. Turn my scale off to try to preserve the battery. But I think the Zerno is, when I was shooting the video talking to Dev, I was like, what is this craziness? You're going to spend $1,800 on a grinder for the home? That's just insanity. Like, and it probably still is insanity. But if you're really into it, it's worth it. It's worth it. Like, I mean, if you're buying, like, some cats are out there buying the Weber EB1s. Other guys are buying the VersaLabs. The VersaLabs, what, $3,600, something like that. So, you know what? If the grind quality is that important and you got the cash, well, why wouldn't you spend it? Like, what are you going to do? Take it with you when you're dead? No. But but on the show, on the live stream, on the channel, I don't normally encourage that kind of spending, because it's like, I try to find more practical ways to make great coffee at home without having to resort to all the crazy items out there. But anyway, I mean, the Zerno had really nice quality to it. It looked really nice. But then again, the new Time More that's coming out looked very nice as well. I mean, there's a lot of nice grinders coming out. A lot of the grinders that I saw, I was like, nice. The Mazr, like super compelling because it's so easy to take apart. But the Mazr, like Mazr in general, it's a massive piece of equipment. Like you've got this, the body is something like this. Who's going to put that in their kitchen? I don't know. The one from Compact, the Pheno, I think it's called. It's only about that big. It opens at the top lid. That's a little bit more compelling because of the size. And Time More, the Zerno, they're all smaller units. You know, very few people are going to put the EB1 or the Weber. Was it EB1 or WB1, whatever it's called, that big Weber thing? Looks awesome. Like I see that, I'm like, whoa, that just looks like scientific craziness that I want to have in my house just because it makes me feel awesome. But it's wildly impractical. Like when I see it at Greg's house, you know, and his bar, it's like, that is just crazy looking. And you can do a lot with it, but is it important? Who knows? Who knows? All right, let's pour some coffee to our elixir. Nice and clean. You know what I'm really enjoying about this particular brewing method, this origami, very clean, very nice. It's, you know, thinking about yesterday's brew, I'm only thinking about it. I don't really recall, but I feel like this looks a little bit darker in the glass. Now, one of the things about before I taste this, and I should give you a little bit of consideration about, is that just before I jumped on the live stream, I took a shower. So at 9:30, I took a shower. By 9:45, I was done, and I brushed my teeth because, you know, morning, gotta brush your teeth. So there's still a little bit of residual. Is it minty? It's cool mint taste on my palate. So let's see what happens. See, that cool mint doesn't go well. There's something interesting about this. Like yesterday, we talked about the coffee having a jackfruit, like a funky jackfruit, and Keone was like, maybe more like durian. And I was like, well, yeah, could be. But I wasn't sure. This is definitely more like durian. I would say there's definitely more of a durian-esque flavor to this coffee. What I would describe as durian-esque. Maybe you wouldn't if you've never had durian. Medium-bodied, like I would say medium light-bodied, very low acidity, which that's good. It's nice. It's nice. It's not too bright. It's nice low acidity. Now, there are some of the flavor notes that come from Teofilo say that it should be notes of dark chocolate, roasted nuts, caramel. I'm not getting any of that. Maybe a little bit of roasted nuts. But we'll see. We'll see as it cools down. We'll see what happens. Keone says, I paid a lot less all in, including delivery to Hawaii and the Pelicanish case. Oh, the build quality. Yeah, the build quality is very nice. Like, I'm just like, wow. So your version that you have you been able to notice if there is, what are the major differences between your version and the one that's currently being released? I'm curious to know. I'm curious because the one that I saw there, you know, that's one of the problems. Like one of the people on the comments commented that, basically he was asking, how could you not know about the meticulous? And I was like, well, my world is completely different than the home world. Like I'm not really paying attention to home equipment most of the time. And the only time that I know about home equipment is usually from Hoon, because he's made a video or he tells me something about it. And then maybe I'll get to see some of the other coffee YouTuber videos. But actually, I don't really watch. The truth of the matter is I don't really watch coffee YouTube. I'm busy watching like other stuff on YouTube, like clips from The Patriot last night, watching, what's his name, Mel Gibson lay waste to British soldiers. That, and I've been watching a lot of Big Bang Theory clips. I love Penny. Penny is my favorite. Penny and Leonard. I know a lot of people love Sheldon. Sheldon's cool, but Sheldon was never the draw. It was always Penny and Leonard, and how this geeky dweeby guy was able to get this really beautiful girl. Maybe that's my aspiration. Like, I don't aspire to be like Sheldon. I maybe aspire to be more like Leonard. Anyway, but let's see. Maybe a little bit of lemony durian. Kind of makes me wonder, like, would this be better served under a different brew method? Maybe I'll have to try that in the future. If you go to Teofilo Coffee and you order a brewed coffee, they have two ways that they're brewing coffee. They're brewing coffee. Well, they have technically three, but two major ways of brewing. And you go there and you can order a drip coffee of the day, and they make it in one of those big ground control, high-tech things. I asked Ron, the owner, I said, why did you start with the ground control instead of something like a Fetco or something like that? He said, well, and the gist that I got from was that it's just different. It's a different way of brewing, so that he wanted to set himself apart. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And if you order like one of these nicer coffees, so he's got the ground control brewing a general drip, whatever drip that they determined that day. They were out of it by the time I got there because I was a little bit later into the afternoon. But if you ask for a single origin type brew, they're going to make it in a AeroPress. And so I wonder, like, will this coffee perform differently in an AeroPress? Now, they do offer espresso, and they're making it in one of those small S2s, S1s, the S1, the little tiny home tabletop one. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, but, I was like, I was like, oh, they must not be serious about espresso. But then later, their barista, she made me ube latte that was actually really good. So, but it doesn't matter. The machine, as long as the machine can create the right amount of bars and produce enough steam to steam the milk, it can do the job. That's nothing to worry about. Keone says that I think it's the same version. I have the HU blind burrs, and it has an ionizer for static. Oh, removable power cord and magnetic wood accents. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I like it when you can remove the power cord. I don't know why. I just like that feature because it just makes it a little more cleaner if you want to like put stuff away and leave it, kind of leave it out and as a showpiece, but you can hide all the cords. I kind of like that. HU blenders. Did you have any trouble since you bought the grinder in the United States, took it with you to Thailand? Isn't Thailand 220? Like, do you have any issues with power? How are you solving those power issues? Like, I know if I take equipment to the Philippines, I have to be concerned about, because there it's 220 and 220 60 hertz, I think it is, which is good because Japan is what, 150 hertz? It's not. Oh no, I think 100. I think Japan is 160 hertz. It's Australia that I think is 50 hertz. Anyway, usually the only thing I really bring with me that really needs to worry about it is the computer. But now the computers have those power packs that pretty much will adjust to almost any power condition, which is really nice. Like, I'm glad we don't have to think about that. Years ago, we had to think about it. Now it's like, oh, so much easier. It's interesting. It's an interesting coffee. Like, I'm not getting the chocolate notes that he's saying, and it could be the brew method. I don't know. Oh, Keone says, when I ordered the 240 volt European plug version. Oh, okay. So how did you power it when you were in Hawaii then? I mean, we can easily wire power that way. And actually, I had at the old shop, I had it wired. I had a 220 drop in the lab that I was planning on wiring with European plugs. I even bought the European plugs in Germany when I was there from their version of Home Depot. I was going to wire it, but then I just never got onto it because really that really was just more for like just to be cool, right? It wasn't really, I didn't really have a practical application. Like, I had a couple pieces that maybe, and the ridiculous thing, I've got this grinder. I've got a Malkonig VT6A or VTA6S, the R2D2 grinder. And I bought it for some crazy price. It was like $400 when I bought it. Problem is it's a three-phase machine. I'm like, I still have yet to have a facility that has three-phase power. So it's just been sitting around for the last like 12 years. Terrible. It's terrible. One of the owners of Malkonig was like, dude, you should just sell that and buy a new one. I was like, yeah, I know. But I want that grinding power of three-phase. One day, when I grow up, maybe I'll have that. All right, so interesting. That durian-esque fruit has softened, and there's a light lemoniness to it. There's a tropicality to it that what would it be? Maybe somewhat similar to apricots, lightly apricot-ish. Maybe like a hint of orange peel, like the zestiness of the orange. But the flavor notes that says it's dark chocolate and caramel, I definitely am not getting any of those. It's much more tropical, much lighter, a little bit bright, but not acidic, but a little bit bright. Not bad. If you like lighter coffees, very good. Okay, and it says, I didn't use it in Hawaii. I just had it sent to. Oh, okay, gotcha. Ah, gotcha. It wasn't heavier than the 50-pound weight limit, I imagine. Bangkok. I would like to go back. One of my friends owns a hotel there. He was like, during the pandemic, he was like, maybe you should come out here and do a residency. And I was like, maybe we should do that. I've been thinking about it more now that we've truly changed our business model. So I'm like, maybe we'll make it out there sometime and do a 2-week stint or something like that, or maybe a month stint in Bangkok. That would be crazy. All right, well, that's pretty much what I have for you today. We'll be back again next week, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you have any questions about coffee, let me know. I'm happy to talk more about other issues of coffee than what I've been thinking about. So Monday, we're going to get into this other coffee that I got from a friend of mine. I went down on Monday to San Diego to visit my friends at Torque Coffee. Andy Newbaum and his wife Nanelle. This is the coffee, and they actually gifted me this coffee from Torque. It is their espresso reserve from Vinca Fista Hermosa, who's another buddy of mine, Edwin Martinez, down in what part of it is? He's in Huehuetenango. And this coffee is a variety. What is it? It's I think it's Caturra, Catuai, and Bourbon. And they found some really nice pickings of those coffees that they thought would be really great for espresso. So that's what this is. They made it, they sequestered it as an espresso blend and have prepared it. And so here it is. And it's supposed to have notes of fudge brownie, chocolate cake, and Turkish apricots. Now, I have no idea how Turkish apricots differ than regular apricots. Perhaps I'll find out. And this is, since it's an espresso blend, we're going to actually make this in espresso. So we'll be talking espresso on Monday, using the little tiny La Valentina E61 espresso machine that I have here, and grinding with an old ancient Mother Major auto grinder. And maybe playing with some tools. Maybe. I do have a couple tools around here that we can play with a little bit. Kenny says, at Stay a Month, the donuts you buy when you were driving is one of the delights. Oh. All right. I will work on it. All right, so back again Monday. So come on to join us 10 a.m. on Monday. We're back again with a little bit of espresso talk. And then later in the week, we're going to get more into coffees from Kenya, and one coffee that has a little bit of a special value, one of these, like, they're trying to do good work, right? All right, so Hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. I've got what have I got going on? I've got a birthday party tomorrow. Oh, I got 2 birthday parties tomorrow, and then what is it? Oh, Mother's Day. Go say hello to your moms. All right. Until Monday, till next time. See you then. And have a great weekend. And mahalo to you, Kione, and thank you, Mom.